want to do today is I want to give you an idea how to get started with Excel 2007 to work on things like descriptive statistics for our business statistics class. Now, to get started, let's just take a look at some data that I have. And this data I got from ratemyprofessor.com. And what I did was I found all the faculty members in my economics department here at the university. And hey, look, there I am, right at the top. All right, that's not egotistical, it just happens to be in alphabetical order. We have a fairly small department that's represented here. You'll notice there's only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of us represented. I picked out which of us are female. Burnett's female, Johnson's female, and Robson's female. The rest are male, so they got a 0 under this 0, 1 dichotomous variable, also referred to as a dummy variable or categorical variable. And then I have these numeric variables over here. The two numeric variables here are quality overall and ease. These are the ratings that students have given us by going on to ratemyprofessor.com and giving us a rating. I've also picked up something else here. I picked up hot. This is whether or not we have at least one chili pepper from our students saying we're hot. Oh, sigh. I don't seem to have one. Anyway. This is my little data set. It's not very big, but here it is, and it's something that we can kind of play with. Now, when we have a data set like this, we generally want to go and put it on our homework, so let's highlight it. Control C, and then let's go open a new workbook, and this workbook will be our homework workbook, so we highlight a cell here, Control V, and we have our data set installed. Now, I point out these tabs at the very bottom of the workbook. These tabs need to have names on them that reflect what's in each sheet. When you have a data set like this, it's a good idea to name the sheet Data. To do that, you right-click on that sheet tab, go down here to rename, and then just type in something clever like Data. When you have these other sheets and you're doing the rest of your homework, you do things like rename them Problem 1, Problem 2, Problem 3, etc. Another little formatting bit that we have here for our workbooks is the workbooks need to have a specific type of name. You do that when you save this thing. Let's save this Excel workbook. And we save the Excel workbook and we give it the appropriate name. The appropriate name is your first name, the underscore, which can be found on the key to the right of the 0 at the top of the keyboard, your last name, again an underscore, and then the chapter homework that you're working on. Let's say chapter 2 because I'm looking at descriptive statistics. You go and save that. All right, so now I have my data. Let me get started by just doing some real simple kind of work with this. Say I want to start by finding some descriptive statistics, say a mean, a standard deviation, even a mode for some of this data. Since I'm not going to bother too much right now with these categorical variables of female or hot, let's start by looking at this quality overall variable. In order to find a mean, we highlight the cell in which we want to put the mean or average from this variable, and then we're going to type in the formula. You have to start the formulas with an equal sign and then the name of the formula. This thing is called an average, so it's an average. You put in a parentheses, and then you can type in either a list of numbers, wow, is that dull, or you can go put in the listing for the variables. Now, in this case and in most others, it's actually faster just to go ahead and highlight that area, close it off with the rest of the parentheses, and there's the mean. Now, if we also want to find a mean for our other variable of ease, we can Control C. We highlight this mean, Control C, move it over there, Control V, and there's the mean for ease. Now, for standard deviation, we want to be looking at standard deviation, but notice there are a whole bunch of different standard deviations down here. This first one, STDEV, estimates a standard deviation based on a sample. So if we're going to assume that this is a sample of the professors of interest and a representative sample, Then I can use this, pick up the data, close it off with a parentheses, and there's my standard deviation. However, I started this out by telling you that this was all of the faculty in the economics department at the university. If I'm studying it as a population, this is not the appropriate standard deviation. What I need here is actually a standard deviation for the population, and that's calculated differently. All right, to do that, I need a different formula, and my different formula is going to be equals STDEV, but now STDEVP, because you'll notice that that's based on the entire population. You can read that out here. All right, so that's the one I want. I want to pick up my data, close it off with a parentheses, there it is. And then how about if I want a mode? Always good for fun. M-O-D-E is the way to spell that one. And I again pick up the data, close it off with a parentheses, and there's my mode. Now if I also want the mode for ease, I can highlight both of these, Control C, highlight where I want to put them, put Control V, and here it is. Notice that I don't seem to have a mode for ease. And indeed, if you look through this list of numbers, there are no two alike. Hence, there is no mode for this variable set. All right, so that gets me methods of doing some fairly simple statistics. Or I could let Excel do this for me. To let Excel do this for me, I can go up to this data analysis. If I go up to the ribbon, go up to data, and then go to data analysis. Now I have already loaded the Data Analysis Toolpak, so it says data analysis here. If you don't see this, go back to getting started with Excel or any 2 or 3 other places I've mentioned in the outline material for this course and download the Toolpak. I'm not going to show you how to do it because there's actually another video on that. Anyway, so data analysis. This is stuff that Excel will do for you. Notice there's one here that says Descriptive Statistics. Let's double click on that. Now, my data is in columns. I'm going to go ahead and put labels in the first row and pick input range. I'm going to go up here, make sure that I have these names, quality overall and ease, included. I'm going to do both of these variables at the same time. When I have them outlined, go back up here to this little square. This is my input range. Now I need to know where to put the results. That's my output range. Now I can either put it in a different worksheet, and that's useful if you're doing this for a separate problem, but I'm just going to put it on the same page, which is the same worksheet. But I need to tell it where because I don't want it to write on top of something. So I'm going to go over here, highlight this square, and that's going to be the beginning of where it's going to give its output, so I'll just go ahead and say all right. Then of course I need to tell it I want summary statistics. Say OK, and look at all this stuff. I mean, oh my goodness, I've got all kinds of stuff here. I have got for the quality overall variable, let's spread that out so it's easier to see, and for the ease variable. Now, the mean here is 4.125. If you go back and look at the work we did, there's the mean, 4.125. So indeed, Excel does calculate this correctly. You'd think it would. It's picking up a standard error, which we haven't dealt with yet. But there's also this standard deviation and a sample variance, because what it is doing here for standard deviation is this a sample standard deviation, because it's assuming that we have sample rather than a population. So I have population down here, sample over here. Now, understand that if you understand the formulas correctly, you can go from one to the other. I'll leave it to you as to how to figure that out. Now, here are some other things, kurtosis and skewness, that tells you how close it is to being a symmetric distribution. The range is the largest minus smallest of the observations. Minimum, maximum, I've got sum, count, that's the number of observations, and all of this is done for both ease and quality overall. It's a whole lot faster to do it this way. We'll also be using some other things out of the data analysis pack, so you really do need it. Here's a cute one. One of the things that it can do for us is look at correlation factors, which we haven't looked at closely yet, but I want to go and take a look at these correlation factors because it's kind of fun here. Look at quality overall and ease, labels in the first row, output range. I'll put the output over here somewhere. I don't want to put it on top of anything, so I think I'll put it down here. And then I want to let it do this. Go down and take a look. This is giving us the correlation coefficient, which has to be between 0 and 1, at how related overall quality is to ease. Notice that's a really high correlation. RateMyProfessor.com really does seem to rate a professor as being better, higher quality overall, if they think of them as being easier. I find this somewhat disturbing. But anyway, there it is. So there's lots of stuff that Excel can do for us. It does it quickly, it does it easily. We need this data analysis, and here you go. It's the way to get it done.